Hi, I'm Lizabeth.
And I'm Cindy.
And we're here with another feeding frenzy for Course in Weight Loss. And we are on lesson number 9.
We're going to finish that lesson
We're going
tonight.
to finish that
today,
lesson tonight.
aren't we? So, you finally got the exercise done.
I did.
And what did you think about it?
It was good. It let me really look at the perceptions that I had of myself today and then trace them back to the events that had taken place in my past. Now, it didn't, what do I want to say? It didn't lead me down the path of guilt or blame like I thought it might when I first started it. But it was good to see, especially knowing that since I have children of my own, how my perceptions were shaped based upon their actions.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? How I built such a self-loathing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because of their actions, yes, I got that message, but I continued it because of my ignorance, because I hadn't looked at it, because I didn't know that it was there. I didn't know it was there.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see through the exercise that I continued that same pattern that was planted.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was a seed they planted, but I took it on like we had been talking about in the Master Key system about the subconscious believes a truth regardless of whether it is or not, just simply because it's there. The subconscious works on the information that it has. So knowing that the seeds that were planted when I was younger, I worked with that information regardless of whether it was true or not.
Right.
I had to work on it or work with it based on the fact that it was.
Right. Right.
And it was just interesting to look at. What about you?
About the same. I thought it would be a lot more depressing, for lack of a better word. A lot of, I didn't really want to do it when we first talked about it. I don't want to dig up all that stuff again. I've already dealt with this. I don't want to have to dig it up again. But looking at it from this side and looking at it as a way to see where my body image was formed, it wasn't. I could almost take myself out of it, you know, and look at it objectively and say, "Oh, okay, that's why I felt that way, or that's why I believed that." And I could look at it more objectively and then just say, "Oh, well, that was a stupid thought," and throw it away. So I think it was helpful.
Good.
Like I said before, I've done, excuse me, that kind of exercise before, and I think I did the hard work then. And this time it was more of just making a timeline, you know, as if it were for a client or something. It wasn't so personal. Which was good, because I think it helps if you can look at it objectively.
That's what I was
and
getting ready
get
to
the
say.
feelings out of the way.
As we go through this and we do these exercises, I'm less and less fearful to look at what's there.
Yeah.
Every time I do a new step, I'm less fearful to look and see what's there, what I need to work on than I was the time before.
Yeah, it's almost like I take the feelings out of it or the emotion out of it, and I can just say, okay, good, we're going to dig that one up and throw it out. And I can now see that when we know better, we do better, as Oprah says.
Exactly.
And that, now that I'm where I'm at and I can look back and be more objective about it and not get so emotional about it and realize that I didn't know any better. You know, and take the blame, shame, guilt, and regret out of it and just look at it for what it is. Oh, okay, that's what I was taught, and that's what I believed, and that's why I did this. Well, now I can get rid of that and move on.
Looking back at what your path was now, and looking back at the actions of your parents and those around you now, does seeing where you were help you define where they were?
I'm not sure if I understand what you're saying.
You see now, I see now, by looking at what I believe and tracing it back to where it came from, I can also now put myself in their shoes and understand a little better. Okay, maybe they didn't understand what it was that they were teaching me at the time. Do you know what I'm saying? So I can much more easily put myself in their shoes now than I could back then.
Right, and I think having children helps me understand my parents so much better. You know, just hearing Mallory talk over the last couple of days on the videos and listening to that again, it reminds me that, you know, I did what I could. I did the best I could do. And thank God I did some things right. I did some wrong. But it helps me to look back at what my parents did and say, well, they were doing the best they could. And they were doing everything they knew to do. And they didn't go into it thinking, I'm going to mistreat her or I'm going to teach her wrong things to hurt her. You know, they were doing the very best they could. And I do believe they loved me and were trying their very best. So it gives me more empathy and sympathy and understanding for everything that happened.
That's good.
So, you know, it doesn't erase all the things that may have happened that I wasn't happy about, but it at least helps me understand it better. Yeah. And forgive myself for taking things the way I took them, and understanding them the way I understood them, and understanding why I do what I do now because of what I believed then, and not ever giving it a second thought. So I think it helped to see that, you know, okay, I'm human, I screwed up, I've made mistakes to get this way on.
You also worked on the knowledge that you had,
right,
and worked from there.
Right.
You know,
we all did, and we all did the best we could. And there are very few exceptions where people are in it to hurt somebody. And you know, the things that people do are because they believe they're doing the right thing at the time, and they just may not know any better, or know a better way.
Right.
And so the only thing we can do at this point is forgive them and forgive ourselves, and do better now.
Does it, seeing both sides, make it easier for you to forgive both sides?
Yeah, I think so. I think this whole process is making it much easier to forgive myself. So, you know, I may have made some bad choices, but okay, here we are. I can either keep living in that past, or I can move forward.
You know what else it does for me? It helps me. It helps me forgive myself in the moment today, too.
Yeah.
I can look at, say, a decision that I made that probably was against where I want to be, you know, and may be considered self-sabotaging, you know, but I can look at it and say, oh, okay, I was working from that old tape again. I'll work on that old tape and I'll start over. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So it's easier for me to forgive myself now, not getting where I want to be quicker.
Right.
And saying, that's okay, you know, I was working from that old information again, or I'm looking at the emotion that's tied to it and saying, okay, I did this because I was emotional about this.
Right.
So it's giving me more knowledge now, looking back at what happened then. Do you find it to be the same for you?
I do. I think it helps me now. Another thing that helps me now is to realize I do have choices. I can eat that candy. I can eat that pizza. I can eat anything I want to eat. The thing is, what's best for me? And now I realize when I eat that piece of bread, it's going to do this, this, and this to me, you know. And as we experience, I feel like the bread makes me more bloated, and it does not serve me well. Does that mean I'll never eat bread again? No.
Right.
No, I will have bread when I want bread. But if I could do with or without it, I probably will choose not to eat it.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. I feel like this is helping me make better choices, and to quit when I get full instead of keep stuffing it in. It's okay to throw it away. Yeah. It's okay to save it for later. Yeah. So that's huge for me. Huge. I only ate half my dinner tonight, if that much. You know, that's huge for me. I stopped when I felt full. You know, I didn't feel like I had to clean that plate.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, it felt good. It feels good to feel not stuffed.
Yeah, it does. It does.
So anything else you've gained over the last several days as we worked through this?
I'm working on finding my balance.
Literally.
Literally. I'm trying really hard not to move a lot because everything gets dizzy. There's, you know, I've got an inner ear thing going on. So every time I move too quickly, the world spins. And I feel like that's, you know, part of what I'm doing here, too. You know, I'm learning balance on both sides. You know?
Yeah, so. Well, you know, Louise Hay says there's always something behind what we're experiencing. So balance may be part of the issue that you're working for.
Maybe it is.
You know? That's interesting.
I'm open to allowing it, which is writing those truths, because even then, those were truths for me. Writing those truths were still difficult to do. And probably it was harder for me to actually get to it and decide I'm going to do this than it was to let it flow. The decision to just do it was a big decision.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things back there that I don't like looking at, you know. But
and we don't want to dig them up again.
Exactly.
But I think it was helpful.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
And looking at each one of the exercises, you and I were talking earlier today that even though some of these exercises were not something we were looking forward to do, I really feel like it's clicking.
Oh,
and it's making a big difference in the way I think about myself and the way I think about food.
Well, and it's changing the way that I'm choosing to go forward, too. I don't want to ever be on another diet. I don't want to look at food and my body in a lack mentality any longer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And so in order to do that, then I'm going to have to change my thinking. And I'm going to have to get to those deeper issues that I'm not going to get to just by dieting.
Right. I agree. So I have another question.
All right.
Since you've had this inner ear problem, you haven't been able to go exercise. How has that affected you? Physically and mentally and emotionally?
For the first time I can say, I actually missed going the other day. I really did, even though I'm still sore from the day before that. Oh my God, he's really put us in the ringer.
It's a tough one.
But I really missed it.
Good.
I really missed it.
So you weren't glad you had an excuse?
No, I really wasn't. I really wasn't. I missed going. And I can't tell you exactly what I miss about it yet, because I get sore. I mean, when we work out, we really work out. I don't know. I guess I'm looking at it now as a way to pamper myself, even though that sounds contrary. True. But it actually is.
I always feel better after we've gone.
And I think I'm finally getting to the point where I do feel better after I'm gone, even though I'm sore. And even though I know, oh, God, I don't know if I can move. I do feel better after the initial soreness. I feel better. And
but even the soreness feels good to me now.
Yes.
Because I feel like, oh, good, that one worked. You know, that was a good workout when I'm sore again. I know I've worked different parts of my muscles that needed to be worked, obviously, and that are building more muscle.
And you and I had a physical representation of the workouts that we have been doing. We're moving that great big old heavy chair the other day. The way it felt 6 months ago is not the way it felt a couple of weeks ago.
We just picked it up like it was nothing.
Exactly. You know, and so
big difference.
That was a good pat on the back for me. You know, I may not have seen it on a scale, but I saw it in the energy I had and the strength that I had in the moment.
How easy that was.
How easy it was in the moment, and yeah, I think I'm really starting to miss it.
Well, he said that it after a while you'll crave it, almost like you crave certain foods because some of the chemicals in your brain or whatever start to build up.
Well, I mean, I can't say that I feel the same after eating chocolate that I do after exercising.
But you get to where you miss it and you crave it.
But I feel like I have deprived my body of that need. It's becoming a need now. A need to get up and move. And every movement I made yesterday, oh gosh, it just immediately it felt like it went to my stomach. You know, it made me sick at my stomach. And so I listened to my body and just tried to be as still as possible. But I missed the movement. I really missed the movement.
Good.
So I'm anxious to get up and going again.
Yeah, now it's snowing or doing something outside, and I'm afraid we won't be able to go tomorrow, and I'm already missing it. And thinking, oh, please don't let it get so bad we can't go tomorrow. So, well, that's good to know. I'm glad that we're both getting some benefits.
Yeah, it took some time.
Oh yeah, we've been doing this for how many months?
I had to be diligent about it, and I knew if I wasn't diligent, I was going to find an easy excuse not to. So 4 months into it, I'm really starting to miss it if we don't go.
Good.
Now there are some weeks when I'm not feeling right or I'm off or whatever, and no, I mean it's still a struggle to get up and go. But I'm glad after we've gone.
Yeah. Well, I can't miss 3 days in a row anymore.
No, because it almost feels like you're starting over again.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we're ready to move on.
Yeah, I think it's just move
It's
on.
been really good.
It's been good, good stuff. Yeah.
Shrink.
Sure.